Hi, I'm Stephen with Alberta Urban Garden.ca. I am really excited about this particular product. The guys at Back to the Roots did it again. First they brought us the easy recycled mushroom farm that uses coffee ground to produce and grow high-class mushrooms at home with very little effort. And then their second product that just last year went through a Kickstarter program and was very, very successful, the Aqua Farm. I'm really excited about this. Now, I don't have the greatest winters, so I can't, do aquaponics outside. But I also don't have a ton of space. So this is a great option to really bring the food web into everyday life, right? So the essentials of aquaponics is basically you have a little fish. Not sure if you can see him. This is Shiny. My nephew lovingly named him Shiny because obviously he's shiny. He's a betta fish. There's also Goldie, which is a golden-shelled snail in there, which is my own little addition to this system. So those two animals, we feed them. So Shiny, the betta fish, he eats the fish food twice a day, a couple of pellets. And Goldie, the snail, is an omnivore. So basically Goldie will pretty well eat anything that's in there. Predominantly though, if there's algae growth, he'll clean that out. The reason why I added the snail is A, it produces a little bit more waste and food for my plants, but B, it helps keep the algae under control in here, so I need to change the water less often. So what that does is the animals in here, they produce waste. Well, what happens to that waste? That waste then is broken down a little bit by bacteria, beneficial microbes, and then it is brought up to the plants through this displacement column. So basically we have a little air pump going on in there, and what that air pump is doing is displacing water. What happens is it displaces it within an unknown cylinder and displaces it up. There's a reservoir in here, so it comes up into that reservoir, an overflow chamber, to bring all that material up. What happens then is the plants that I've got just planted in here will take that nitrogen waste coming from the animals and actually use that as fertilizer. They will grow much better, and what will happen with the water is it will become cleaner. Too much nitrogen waste in here is the reason why you need to change your fish's tank water so often. This will severely reduce that. So what will happen is these plants will take that nitrogen out, they'll drop that clean water back in, and then Shiny and Goldie will do quite a bit better. The benefit as well, we get some great aquaponics going on and some awesome food to come out of this system. So you get a pet, a slick looking design, and some food. I can't say enough about this. I'm super excited that here in Canada, Greenland Garden Center here in Edmonton, I believe is the first group to bring this into Canada. I am awesomely excited, and I really would like to give a pat on the back to the Greenland staff for actually bringing this in. It sold out quick because this is such a great idea and such a fun thing to do. It's a great learning tool as well. I mean, I set this up with my nephew, and he was able to learn about the food web, about the different cycling of nutrients, and all the different components of keeping a fish happy, keeping your plants happy, and, just general interest in science. And as a scientist myself, there's no better way. So I'm going to take you along as we set this system up, just as a tutorial, because I know some people learn by reading, some people learn by doing, some people learn by watching. So I figured I'd try to help you out and do all of that, right? So we're going to get to assembling this thing. I'm going to show regular updates on my channel, so make sure to tune in, and we'll set this up. So let's get started. This is the AquaFarm kit as it comes in the box, and on the right is our fish, Shiny. From left to right is the stones that go on the bottom, the porous rock, fish food, pump and air hose, the seeds that come with the kit, which are 3 wheatgrass, 1 basil, the beneficial microbes, dechlor, tidy tank, and some fish food. What you'll need to buy for the kit is a fish, a snail, and I bought an extra plant and food. The first step is to give the fish a bath. This helps prevent any diseases from passing on from the pet store to your new Aqua Farm. So for that, you'll need the fish prep and the dechlor. So you want to fill half of the tank with just tap water. Make sure it's about room temperature. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put a half cap of dechlor to remove the chlorine that comes in your regular tap water. If you have well water, you really probably don't need to do this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place the container that the fish came in without allowing the water to touch into the water here. That'll allow us to equalize the water temperatures and not really shock the fish too much when you do give it its bath. So we're just going to leave it in here for 15 minutes, and that will allow the temperatures to equalize. So the 15 minutes has elapsed. Water temperatures are equal. So you just basically tip this over and slowly sink it. Just allow your fish to swim out into the bath himself. This may take a little bit of time, but that will shock our fish just a little bit less. The next step is to clean the stones. Stones in the kit are quite clean, but they do require a little bit of cleaning with hot water in order to remove the fines from around them so that it hurts the fish less. You really want to do this because fish gills are quite sensitive to sediment, and you really don't want to hurt your fish from the moment get-go. You can use one of the net pots as a colander. It works quite well just to rinse the rocks. You'll do this for both the bottom stones and the porous stones. So what we're going to do now that we've cleaned the bottom stones in the plant, is fill up to the grayed out line or the shadowed line on the fish farm. Just with room temperature tap water is perfectly fine. We'll add the dechlor in a minute to get rid of the chlorine in there. So we'll fill it up and we'll come back here in a second. So we now have moved this to its final resting place. Just a caution, it does get kind of heavy. We want to use a full cap of the dechlor this time in order to take out the chlorine of the full tank. So this time we're not going to be able to just simply rest the container on the bottom because there's a lot more water in the fish farm. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to hold it here again for 15 minutes. This does take a little bit of patience, and if you put them in a bag it would work quite well. So it's been 15 minutes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat what we did in the fish bath. We're simply going to tip the jar and allow the fish to swim himself right out. So it's recommended when you do the fish bath not to do it for any of the other little creatures you're going to put into your system. So this is our golden shell snail, and the purpose of the snail is to remove any of the buildup of plankton or algae that does grow. Now he's going to look asleep during the day, but during the night I assure you he'll be moving and cleaning the tank. Just a side note, they are self-fertile, so if you do see any of the little ones, you just want to pull them out. Don't squish them in the water because that'll simply release more eggs. So the next part is to install the grow bed. So this includes the reservoir and the holding component for the net pots. So the next part is to attach the air pump. What you want to do is you want to hang the air pump at the back of the fish farm and thread the plastic tubing down the center tubing to 3/4 of an inch below the bottom. That'll allow us to have the displacement of the water and allow the water to come up without it just bubbling into the tank. So there are 3 places where it can go, and what you want to do is thread that through there and place the pump on the bottom so that it doesn't vibrate around. Make sure to turn the pump, I believe it's clockwise twice, to get 100% power out of your air pump. So you'll notice we've got it bubbling along here, and it is displacing the water, bringing it up the column quite nicely. And in the top, you can see that the water is bubbling up the center column here, filling the bed and draining down the little hole on the left. So after you've set up the air pump, you want to put the tray back on so that you can put your net pots in there. Now it just sits nicely in here, and if you've got a little bit of vibrating, that's just the pump in the background. vibrating against it. Just make some adjustments. It's pretty quiet. All you'll hear is the gurgling of the water when you've got the pump appropriately set up in the back. So next what you'll need is the net pots. Fill them 1/3 with the porous stone that you've washed in hot water and just drop her in there. So the next step is to use the beneficial microbes that come in this container here. The reason why you filled the net pots only 1/3 the way is so that you can spread the entire content of this bottle over the 5 pots and then place other stones on top. So we're just going to equally spread it over the porous stones in all 5 pots, and we will then go and fill them up again. The next step is to take the remainder of the porous stones that have been washed with hot water and fill up the net pots. So once filled, we're going to take the seed packs that were provided, which are a general basil and wheatgrass. Just simply rip open the container, take out the amount of seeds that you are looking to plant. Now, just a reminder, basil seeds are quite small, so be very, very careful with these guys. And you're just going to place them gently into the stones. They should find a little place to get nice and sprouted, and they will come up in the next couple of days. Once you have them up, you're going to want to thin them out so that you have a few plants that will grow nice and strong. So we're planting the wheatgrass, which is quite a bit larger of a seed, by simply sprinkling them in and making sure we have them all in the net pot. So we're going to do some lettuce. Lettuce doesn't require a whole ton of direct sunlight, which is good for this system, which will be sitting on my kitchen table for the most part. One of the experiments I'm going to do with this particular system is to see if I need any direct light. I don't have it next to a window, but it is in a well-lit room. And in the last pot, I'm going to try some thyme. Thyme is one of my favorite herbs to grow, and hopefully it will grow well in this system. The last thing to note is that the kit does come with some fish food and an algae remover. The fish food, twice a day, you're going to want to put 6 to 8 little kernels in there for your fish to be nice and happy. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please subscribe. Or join us on Google Plus and Facebook. The links are in the description below. For a link to Greenland Garden Center, or if you're in the United States, a link to Back to the Roots, to get this product, I'll put that also in the link below.